Want to speak real Filipino from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at filipinopod101.com.
The 10 questions you should know in Filipino. So let's begin. Anong pangalan mo? What's your name? The first question that you should know is, anong pangalan mo? In English, what's your name? So, how do you answer this question? For instance, my name is Erica. So in Filipino, I would say, ako si Erica. Or, I'm Erica. This is a very useful question when you want to get to know other people. So you better remember this. Anong pangalan mo? In English, what's your name? Kamusta? How are you? The next question that you should know is, kamusta? Or in English, how are you? How do you respond to this question? You say, mabuti naman. Ikaw? Or, I'm good. You? So this is also again another very common question that you can ask your friends just because you're friends. So you have to know how they are. Parang lagi na lang magka-sarcastic yung... Actually, the longer version is kamusta ka? But no one really says that now. So you can just simply say, kamusta? Yeah, or even shorter, you can just say, musta. So it's very nice actually to say this to people, especially if you haven't seen them for a long time. Taga saan ka? Where are you from? So the next question that you should know is, taga saan ka? Or in English, where are you from? So how do you answer this question? If you are, say, from Manila, then you reply, taga Maynila ako. Or, I'm from Manila. So say you are from Lisbon, then you'd say, taga Lisbon ako. Or, I'm from Lisbon. So this is also a very important question to know, especially if you're just meeting someone for the first time. So, I don't know, just people are very interested in where you go home. Or where you're from, not really where you go home. Kailan ang iyong kaarawan? When is your birthday? Kailan ang iyong kaarawan? In English, when is your birthday? So if you want to really respond to this question in fluent Filipino, then you would say, sa ika-25 ng Disyembre ang aking kaarawan. Or in English, this translates to my birthday is on December 25th. If it's December 25, then obviously your birthday is on Christmas. But if say August 9, then you would say in Filipino, ika-siyam ng Agosto. But no one really says that, so you just say August 9. Just say August 9. Ang kaarawan ko ay sa August 9. Or my birthday is on August 9. Saan ka nakatira? Where do you live? Saan ka nakatira? Or, where do you live? So, for example, you live in Makati City, which is the business district. So, you will say, nakatira ako sa Makati. Or, I live in Makati. Saan ka nagtatrabaho? Where do you work? The next question that you should know is, saan ka nagtatrabaho? Or, where do you work? So, for example, you want to say that you work at Intel. Or sometimes there's call center in Intel, right? So there are many call centers in the Philippines and many younger Filipinos work in call centers. And so you can say, nagtatrabaho ako sa Intel. Or I work at Intel. And then usually the follow-up question would be, what do you do at Intel? So then you would say, I'm a call center agent, or I'm a, IT person, or I'm the CEO of Intel. Oh, wow. Ano ang phone number mo? What's your phone number? The next question that you should know is, ano ang phone number mo? Oh, we're getting really in closer territories. So, for example, you really want to be friends with this person or more than friends. Then you ask, ano ang phone number mo? Or, what's your phone number? For instance, you want to give your phone number to this person, whoever this person is. Ang number ko ay, and then your number. For instance, 0123456789. In English, my number is this. So usually people would still ask for your phone number. But usually they would say, what's your cell phone number? Saan ka nag-aral ng Filipino? Where did you learn Filipino? Saan ka nag-aral ng Filipino? In English, where did you learn Filipino? So this is very interesting And very important to be able to respond to this, when the person that you're talking to is really like amazed with your Filipino, so you better reply with, Nag-aral ako gamit ang filipinopod101.com or I studied with filipinopod101.com. So where did you learn Filipino? Mahilig ka ba sa pagkaing Pilipino? Do you like Filipino food? Mahilig ka ba sa pagkaing Pilipino? Or, do you like Filipino food? For instance, you really do. So, how do you respond to this question? You say, Oo, lalong-lalo na ang adobo, if adobo is your favorite. Or it can be kare-kare. Then you would say, Oo, lalong-lalo na ang kare-kare. In English, yes, especially kare-kare or adobo. This is very important question to know because you usually get asked this question when you say go to gatherings or parties or just like when you're staying in a Filipino friend's house, right? Their moms would usually ask you, oh, do you like Filipino food? What do you want to eat? And then they will most probably give you that food, serve you that food. They're very hospitable. Saan ang magandang pasyalan sa Pilipinas? Where is it nice to go to in the Philippines? The next question that you should know is, saan ang magandang pasyalan sa Pilipinas? In English, where is it nice to go to in the Philippines? If I'm going to give an advice now, I would say Palawan, definitely. And you would see, just type Palawan in Google, you would see really beautiful pictures. But if you want to be really specific, where exactly in Palawan, then either El Nido or Coron. So for instance, I would say sa Coron, Palawan. Or in English, in Coron, Palawan. It's very nice actually, very cheap and very beautiful place. So I haven't been to Coron, I've been to El Nido. I've been to El Nido, not Coron, not yet.
10 phrases you always want to hear. Ang ganda mo ngayon. You look great today. Okay, the first phrase is, ang ganda mo ngayon. You look great today. This is kind of a double-edged sword because if you say, you look great today, did they look not great yesterday? But still, it's nice to hear, I guess. Ganda mo ngayon. Makeup ka. Miss na kita. I miss you. Next phrase is, miss na kita. I miss you. If you're away and they say I miss you, then that's fine, I guess, because like you're not together. But if someone says you and you've been hanging out like every day, that means something else. Like you're there but not there kind of thing. So see for yourself. So if you want to say that I really miss you, then you just say miss na kita. May bonus sa katapusan ng buwan. There'll be a bonus at the end of the month. Okay, the next phrase that you always want to hear is, may bonus sa katapusan ng buwan. There will be a bonus at the end of the month. Yeah, this one, you'd want to hear this. Especially if you're like, not good with the bills. Napakagaling mong magluto. You're an excellent cook. Napakagaling mong magluto. You're an excellent cook. If you know how to cook, unlike me, and you give your friends some of the things you cook, and they say this to you, then always want to hear that. Yeah. Magpahinga ka. Ako ang maglilinis ngayon. Take a break. I'll do the cleaning today. Magpahinga ka. Ako ang maglilinis ngayon. Take a break. I'll do the cleaning today. Oh, yeah. Like... Because if you hear this, that would be very great as well. I need help with the cleaning. Tama ka. You were right. Okay, another thing you might want to hear is tama ka. Or you were right. Yeah, I guess you want to hear this when you're in an argument. Dinalhan kita ng isang special na bagay. I brought you something special. Next one is, dinalhan kita ng isang special na bagay. That means, I brought you something special. I want something special. Unlimited ang budget. The budget is unlimited. Next phrase you would want to hear is, unlimited ang budget. Or the budget is unlimited. Definitely, if you want like bunch of equipment and they say to you, the budget is unlimited. Like, yeah! Ililibre kita. I'll treat you. Next one is ililibre kita. Meaning, I'll treat you. Ah, so nice. Oh, many Filipinos love hearing this. So like, if you want to make Filipino friends, make sure to say this. Yeah. Ang bait mo. You're kind. Ang bait mo. Meaning, you're kind. Sometimes it's nice to know that like your kindness is being appreciated. So like if someone says this to you, then you'll feel happy, I guess. If you want to convey that they're very kind, just repeat the adjective. So it's gonna be ang bait-bait mo. So that means you're very kind.
10 phrases to amaze native speakers. Salamat pero sa totoo lang, hindi ako isang native speaker. Thank you, but I'm not a native speaker actually. Salamat pero sa totoo lang, hindi ako isang native speaker. Thank you, but I'm not a native speaker actually. If you start learning now, you'll be one of those few foreigners who can amaze Filipinos. Isang taon lang ang kinailangan ko para maging mahusay sa pagsasalita. It took me only 1 year to become fluent. Isang taon lang ang kinailangan ko para maging mahusay sa pagsasalita. It took me only 1 year to become fluent. So I don't know how easy actually Filipino is for foreign people. I don't know if in 1 year you'll be able to speak it. Probably like the basics of it, right? Because Filipino, you don't really need to learn new alphabet. And also, some of the words are in Spanish. So if you kind of know Spanish, then you would most probably understand some of the words. But for you to be able to speak 1 year, I think is fine. But for you to be able to actually understand all the nuances in the language, then 1 year is probably a bit too short. Makakapagsalita ako ng Filipino gaya ng isang Pilipino sa loob ng 3 taon. I'll speak Filipino like a native speaker in 3 years. Makakapagsalita ako ng Filipino gaya ng isang Pilipino sa loob ng 3 taon. I'll speak Filipino like a native speaker in 3 years. That's actually a good target, right? But of course, there's still so many things that you won't be, probably like inside jokes, right? Like, or especially since Filipino language is, like any other language, is continuously evolving, right? Because we have lots of slang now, right? Like slang that you get from American slang, and then also gay lingo, right? So all of those words, and then usually when you learn Filipino, you won't get to hear those slang or like street words. And most people actually use a bit of like casual, even in, they only use really formal Filipino in say formal situations, formal settings. So this is a good target, but good luck. 10 taon na akong nag-aaral ng Filipino. I've been learning Filipino for 10 years. 10 taon na akong nag-aaral ng Filipino. I've been learning Filipino for 10 years. That's actually very good. I mean, for me, for us, like English, we take so many years and still there's some things that you cannot understand. So for instance, we learn English, like standard English, right? And then you talk to, say, an American or to a British person. And then there are so many words that you cannot understand. But you cannot understand them because these are like, but it's like the usage of the words is different from how you learned it from the dictionary. Sometimes when you speak to them, you sound so formal. 10 years is very good. Kaya kong manood ng mga pelikulang Filipino nang walang subtitle. I can watch Filipino movies without subtitles. Kaya kong manood ng mga pelikulang Filipino nang walang subtitle. I can watch Filipino movies without subtitles. We are releasing so many indie movies recently. Those are really good movies, so please watch Filipino movies. And if you can see them without subtitles, very good. Kaya kong magkabisa ng higit kumulang mga 50 bagong salitang Filipino kada araw. I can memorize around 50 new Filipino words a day. Kaya kong magkabisa ng higit kumulang mga 50 bagong salitang Filipino kada araw. I can memorize around 50 new Filipino words a day. Oh, that's very impressive. I don't have memories. Masaya at madaling aralin ang Filipino. Filipino is fun and easy to learn. Masaya at madaling aralin ang Filipino. Filipino is fun and easy to learn. Yeah, which actually it is, right? I think it's easier compared to, say, Japanese or Chinese. Because as I've said, first, Filipino, you don't need to learn new alphabet, which immediately makes it easy, right? Because learning a new alphabet is very hard, right? I mean, if you say, for example, walk in the streets and then you can read the signs, that's already something. Because, say, you go to Japan, then you see all the signs, and you cannot read kanji, or hiragana, or katakana, right? Then you cannot, it's like as if you're lost. But at least with Filipino, then you can immediately read the signs. And then the next thing is, you learn the words. Naintindihan ko ang lahat ng sinabi mo. I completely understood everything you said. Naintindihan ko ang lahat ng sinabi mo. I completely understood everything you said. Yeah, so when someone tells you this, then they're amazed. Yeah, so that's why they're just like, oh, great. So for example, someone tells you this very long explanation about something. Then, as a Filipino, you can simply say, gets ko. Because that's very Filipino actually, which means, I got it. Marami akong alam na slang sa Filipino. I know a lot of slang words in Filipino. Marami akong alam na slang sa Filipino. I know a lot of slang words in Filipino. It depends also when you use the slang words, because not in all circumstances can you use slang words, right? Especially if you're just meeting someone for the first time, then you would want to be a bit more formal. Then becoming too formal is not natural. It can be seen as sarcastic even. Actually, I think the key to being thought of as fluent is like getting this balance of being like casual, natural, and also a bit like more formal, right? I think so. Nakakabasa na ako ng nobela sa Filipino. I can now read a novel in Filipino. Nakakabasa na ako ng nobela sa Filipino. I can now read a novel in Filipino, which is very good. If you read actual like old Filipino novels, it's very, like flowery. It's like it really evokes emotions when you read Filipino novels. It's actually hard to write in really, say, old poetic Filipino now.
About 20 travel phrases you should know. So, tara na! Biyahe tayo! Pwede ba akong makakuha ng mapa? Could I get a map? Pwede ba akong makakuha ng mapa? Pwede ba akong makakuha ng mapa? Could I get a map? If you don't wanna use up your roaming on your Google Maps, there's always maps in the tourist information guide. Or actually, in bookstores, you could also buy maps if you need them. Nagsasalita ka ba ng Ingles? Do you speak English? Here's another phrase you might want to learn. Nagsasalita ka ba ng Ingles? Nagsasalita ka ba ng Ingles? Do you speak English? Well, perhaps the answer to this is maybe perhaps yes. I don't know. But let's not assume. Let's not assume that everyone in the Philippines speak English, but most of us do. May bus bang galing airport papuntang syudad? Is there a bus from the airport to the city? May bus bang galing airport papuntang syudad? May bus bang galing airport papuntang syudad? Is there a bus from the airport to the city? Well, if you are flying from Manila, the airport is actually in the middle of the city, so we don't really need a bus. I wouldn't really know because my family is very nice enough to always get me from the airport if I need to be coming from the airport in the Philippines. Thank you, family! Libre ba ang Wi-Fi? Is the Wi-Fi free? In this day and age, I think this one is very important. Libre ba ang Wi-Fi? Libre ba ang Wi-Fi? This means, is the Wi-Fi free? Yeah, so like if you have your iPhone, iMac, I love you with you, then you might want to get the Wi-Fi. Meron ba kayong bakanting kwarto ngayong gabi? Do you have any vacancies tonight? Okay, here's another phrase you might want to know when you're asking at a hotel. Meron ba kayong bakanting kwarto ngayong gabi? Meron ba kayong bakanting kwarto ngayong gabi? This means, do you have any vacancies for tonight? So yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't reserve beforehand at the hotel, but in case you didn't, this is a good phrase you might want to remember. Pwede bang lumipat sa ibang kwarto? Could I move to a different room? Pwede bang lumipat sa ibang kwarto? Pwede bang lumipat sa ibang kwarto? Could I move to a different room? You know, you never know. Maybe you have noisy neighbors, or you just feel like there's someone else in the room. Let's hope not. Then you might want to ask this question. May reservation ako. I have a reservation. May reservation ako. May reservation ako. I have a reservation. Yeah, it's very simple. Easy to remember. May, it sounds like the 5th month of the year. Reservation. Reservation. Ako. Me. May reservation ako. Pwedeng makahingi ng menu? Could we have the menu, please? Okay, so here's another one that I think you will find useful and would use a lot, since food is very cheap in the Philippines and you want to try a lot of restaurants. Pwedeng makahingi ng menu? Pwedeng makahingi ng menu? Could we have the menu, please? There you go. Eat to your heart's content. Try out all the restaurants you want and just don't go to McDonald's every time. Pwede bang makuha ang bill? Could I have the check? Pwede bang makuha ang bill? Pwede bang makuha ang bill? Could I have the check? So usually there's a gesture in the Philippines for the check, and it's like this. It's like a rectangle. So when you do this to the waiter or waitress, whatever, then that means you want the bill. But you could also remember this word. You could also try and remember this phrase. Pwede bang makuha ang bill? Allergic ako sa mani. I'm allergic to peanuts. Okay, here's one very important travel phrase in case you're someone like this. Allergic ako sa mani. Allergic ako sa mani. I'm allergic to peanuts. Allergic is also the same in Filipino. So you just need to find the Filipino word for the thing that you're allergic to. Like in this case, peanuts is mani. Like maybe chicken. Chicken is manok. Allergic ako sa manok. Shrimp, maybe shrimp. Allergic ako sa hipon. Anyway, if you're allergic to something and you want to find out what it is in Filipino, perhaps maybe you could just put it in the comments and we'll try to help you out. Tubig po. Water, please. Here's another travel phrase you should know. Tubig po. Water, please. So here, po doesn't actually mean please. It's a polite particle. You add it to the sentence to make it sound polite, because you want to be polite when asking for water, since it's like free. You need to be polite. Magkano ito? How much is this? Magkano ito? Magkano ito? This means, how much is this? So yeah, definitely travel also means you want to go shopping. So you might want to remember this phrase. How much is this? Magkano ito? So ito actually is this. So it has to be somewhere near you. Gusto ko ng 10 nito. I'd like 10 of these. Okay, so if you want not just one of something, you could try using this one. Gusto ko ng 10 nito. Gusto ko ng 10 nito. This means I'd like 10 of these. 10 means 10, so if you replace 10 with another number, then you could make any sentence you want. For example, you want, 50. 50 is 50, so gusto ko ng 50 nito. Or if you just want 3, you could say, gusto ko ng 3 nito. I don't know what these are. But if it's 10, maybe it's like some kind of souvenir, Pwede niyo ba akong bigyan ng discount? Could you give me a discount? Hey, another travel phrase you should know is, especially in the Philippines and if you wanna have some bargain, pwede niyo ba akong bigyan ng discount? Pwede niyo ba akong bigyan ng discount? Could you give me a discount? So, here's a tip when you're trying to bargain for something. You don't just ask this. You should have a price in mind that you would like to offer them back. So, it's more of like a negotiation, not like, oh, can you give me a discount? They'll probably ask you, so how much would you like to buy it for? So you have to be prepared for that and not just ask, give me a discount. You have to name your price as well. Tumatanggap ba kayo ng credit card? Do you take credit card? Here's another phrase that you might want to know when traveling. Tumatanggap ba kayo ng credit card? Tumatanggap ba kayo ng credit card? Do you take credit card? So yeah, of course, you just have a limited cash that you exchange. Your currency for the local currency. So you might want to just spend the cash in the places that don't accept credit card. Or else you might really need it somewhere that doesn't accept anything else but cash and you didn't have it. So, yeah. You might want to ask this question a lot. Nasaan ang istasyon ng tren? Where's the train station? Nasaan ang istasyon ng tren? Nasaan ang istasyon ng tren? Where's the train station? There's not really much train stations in the Philippines, but there's just a few of them, maybe 20, 30, and they're only just in Metro Manila, so, but bus stations are also not that common. It's basically, maybe we should make a whole video discussing transportation in the Philippines, because it's very complicated actually. It's not just hey, there's trains and stations. It's more of you need to know which buses take which route and how much it costs beforehand, because anyway, you need to be a real veteran to survive Philippine public transportation. Excuse me, magkano po ang pamasahe? Excuse me, what's the fare? Here's another phrase that could be useful when you're in the Philippines. Excuse me, magkano ang pamasahe? Excuse me, magkano ang pamasahe? Excuse me, what's the fare? So, yeah, usually you might want to ask this if you don't know how much the fare is, because, not for the trains, you have to actually pay before going in the train, but for buses or jeepneys or tricycles, usually there's a sign, tiny sign how much it costs to go from somewhere to somewhere, but it's either very far away or you couldn't see it, so you just have to ask the driver how much the fare is. So yeah, we definitely need that whole lesson about Philippine public transportation. Pwede niyo po ba akong kunan ng litrato? Could you take a picture of me, please? Okay, here's another phrase you might want to learn when traveling. Pwede niyo po ba akong kunan ng litrato? Pwede niyo po ba akong kunan ng litrato? Could you take a picture of me, please? I don't know. If you want a group shot, then might as well ask someone to take it for you. I bet they won't run with your camera if that's what you're thinking, because that's just rude. Yeah, can be useful. So that you could have your Instagram pic later on without the selfie stick. Just kidding. Ito ba ang tamang bus papuntang airport? Is this the right bus for the airport? Ito ba ang tamang bus papuntang airport? Ito ba ang tamang bus papuntang airport? Is this the right bus for the airport? So, yeah, I guess when you're returning back, you might wanna not get lost to get to the airport, but to be honest, I don't really think there's a direct bus to the airport. Although I only have experience in Manila, and I've always been lucky enough to have my family get me there. But I guess you'd have to take a taxi. Meron ba kayong mairekomenda? Do you have any recommendations? Meron ba kayong mairekomenda? Meron ba kayong mairekomenda? This means, do you have any recommendations? Yeah, if you can't really choose from the menu, then you could ask the person, meron ba kayong mairekomenda? Usually, they would point to the most expensive thing there, so... But yeah, usually the most expensive thing is also the nicest.
Want to finally start speaking in your target language? In this guide, you'll discover the top 7 ways to practice speaking on your own with our lessons. Let's begin. Number 1, shadowing. Shadowing is a proven learning technique where all you do is repeat what you hear in order to practice speaking. So access any audio or video lesson on the site and press the play button to start. Then, as you listen or watch, just repeat the conversations. Or, even easier, read along out loud with the dialogue section. The script is right there in front of you. With our lessons, you can master entire conversations, just like that. Number 2, read out loud. I just mentioned it, but reading out loud is another powerful tactic and deserves its own mention. With every lesson, you get written transcripts and translations. So, as you play the lesson, read the dialogue out loud as you hear it. Why? By reading out loud, you're also practicing your speaking skills. You can do this with the lesson notes, the lesson transcript, or the dialogue tool. With the dialogue tool, you can listen to each line again and again, and repeat out loud until you master them all. Number 3, speed up your reading to speed up your speaking. Being able to speak without thinking is a sign of language mastery. If you're talking to a native and can respond quickly, they'll assume that you're fairly fluent. How can you do this? When you read out loud, try increasing your speed a little bit every time. So, start by reading with the dialogue tool. If you're like most learners, you'll read the first line slowly. That's because you're still getting used to the words, which is okay. Reread it. On your second try, you know most of the words, and you'll read a little faster. Reread it again. On your third try, you'll be even faster, at a native speaker's speed. And being able to read these phrases out loud and fast will help you speak fast. Number 4, record and compare yourself with native speakers. In order to sound like a native speaker, you must imitate native speakers. So here's how. Access the voice recorder, which is in the Dialogue Study tool in every lesson. Click on the microphone icon. Listen to the native speaker's audio, and then record yourself. You can then compare the 2 recordings side by side, and practice and try again and again until you perfect your pronunciation. Number 5, get feedback from our Premium Plus teacher. If you're learning by yourself and don't have access to real teachers, then you can always get feedback from our Premium Plus teachers. With the My Teacher tool, you can record yourself speaking and send the audio file to the teacher. They'll review it and tell you what to improve and how. That's it. Number 6, level up your speaking with Premium Plus assignments. With Premium Plus, you can also get assignments that cover reading, writing, listening, and even speaking from your teacher. These assignments can be tailored to your goals and needs. You get a new one every week, or anytime you're ready for a new one. Number 7, get even more lessons in the lesson library. If you want even more lessons on speaking and conversations, visit our lesson library and under Category, choose Conversation. You'll get all of the pathways and lessons that are focused on speaking. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share it with anyone who's trying to learn a language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. And if you're ready to finally learn language the fast, fun, and easy way, and start speaking from your very first lesson, get our complete learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Click the link in the description. I'll see you next time. Bye! When learning a new language, we sometimes have a hard time with things like procrastination, discouragement, or failure. But don't panic. With a good strategy, you'll be able to overcome these difficulties. Are you ready to discover the 4 habits of successful learners? Number 1, optimize your time. When learning a language, it's important to dedicate time to your studies regularly, even if sometimes it's difficult. You're busy with school, work, family, or friends. But you can spread out your learning throughout the day. Study whenever you have small gaps of time in your busy schedule. This can be when you're on the metro, on your lunch break, or while you're exercising. Our podcast learning format fits perfectly into your tight schedule. Number 2, consistency with your chosen method. There are a lot of options when it comes to courses and learning materials. Switching from one method to another can confuse you and disrupt your progress. Focusing on one learning method will make a difference. Our method has been created and optimized by real teachers, so you can stick to it with confidence. Number 3, use your language background. Many languages share some commonalities. You can find words that look or sound similar, or even share the same grammar structure. A little bit of language background will give you an edge while learning. Number 4, study continuously. People are excited when they start learning a new language. The enthusiasm usually lasts until the first roadblock. This can lead to discouragement and procrastination. But don't burn yourself out. Learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. Don't try to learn it all at once. Break things down into more digestible chunks. Learning step by step might feel slow, but it's an efficient way to learn a language. With patience, motivation, and good resources, you'll master the language. Remember, you can't learn a language overnight, but with motivation and these daily lessons, you'll be on the road to fluency. Give it a try now. Sign up for your account. Just click the link in the description. Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.